a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters. So you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again. Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Good morning and welcome to Yarn Lane. Oh, how I've missed you. I've missed 4 whole weeks of being on Yarn Lane, but don't worry, I have been working on Yarn Lane, planning some great shows for you. But I've missed being with you on Yarn Lane. I have watched though. I've watched you all doing it. John has done a fantastic job. In fact, I might just leave him to it because he's so good at it. I think he's probably an expert crochet. He's probably crocheting this right now while he's watching it. He's been fantastic, but it is lovely to be back. And it's lovely to be back with Block of the Month. So I was just saying to Wendy how when we launched Block of the Month, it was our half birthday. So that was May the 4th or the 3rd or the 7th, beginning of May. Anyway, ages ago. So I missed number 2. We're now on number 3. So if you haven't seen Block of the Month, I'm just going to give you a quick recap on what it is. Wendy and I decided that there were lots of you out there who wanted to learn to crochet or learn to knit or wanted to improve. Maybe had had a go but didn't really know how to get any further. Sorry. So the idea behind this was approach as complete beginners to either crochet or knitting. So you have to choose. You either do a knitted blanket or a crochet blanket. You can do both, but you'd have to buy both. But also anyone who can already crochet and knit and wants to learn new stitches. So at the end of the 6 months, every month we give you a new block. And at the end of the 6 months, you have enough blocks then to make 12 blocks, because in each month you make one standard block and one new one. So it means that every month you can have another go, practice again the standard block, and then every month you can learn a new one. Now the best thing about it is every month when you buy your yarn pack, you'll get the instructions for the current block and the yarn to do it. There is enough yarn for you to make 2 blankets. So each blanket has 12 blocks in it. There's enough for you to make 2. So you could make an extra big blanket, which would be big enough for like a king size bed. Or make one for you, one for a friend, one for you, one for charity. Maybe you know a hospital needs blanket, or a homeless charity, or anything like that. Or you could learn how to do one and then save the yarn and give the yarn to somebody else to make another. That's entirely up to you. But we've made sure that you've got more than enough. If you're a beginner to this, there's nothing worse than only just having enough yarn. We want you to be able to unpick it and start again if you need to have a practice, to have a go. But this is the point. So Wendy designed the whole blanket. I like to say we. I discussed it with Wendy, and then Wendy did it. Wendy designed the whole blanket. We discussed the colours. I knew there was a point to this conversation.
No, you said, I've got a good idea, you can do it.
Yeah, I said, I've got a really good idea, and you can do it. So we discussed the colours. So the blankets have all been designed together, so the colours go. So you can choose between knit and crochet. So this is the knitted blanket. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 12 squares. There's just 3 at the bottom you can't see. That's the knitted blanket. And then this is the crochet blanket. So every month you will make a big granny square and also a new technique. So all of you lovely people, is that all of them? Yeah, just they're sort of cropped off the edges. All of you people who've been following us so far have done your 2 blocks from month 1, your 2 blocks month 2, and thank you for sharing them with us. Wendy and I have really enjoyed seeing them all on the Yarn Lane fan page. Please send us pictures of what you've done. It's great. We love seeing them all. And if you've got any questions, I saw one the other day where someone said, am I doing this wrong? And you went, no, it's brilliant. This is really lovely. So please do keep posting them. So today is block 3, and I'm going to start with the crochet. So this is the kit for block 3. So in the kit you get the instructions, Crochet Block of the Month Series 3. So this month we're going to be doing the granny square that you've been doing for the first 2, so you can practice again, and the floral striped square. Now this is up to you. If you want to do 2 floral striped squares, you can. It's totally up to you, but it's just a way of practicing. It depends. If you want your blanket to be identical to Wendy's, do 1 granny square and 1 floral stripe, but it's your blanket, you can do what you like. So there's all the instructions. Do it really quick. When you're pinching them. Really quick. There's all the instructions, everything. Remember, this is written from a complete beginner. There will be the instructions for the granny square in there, the same as they are in 1 and 2, because I know that there will be some people who just think, I only want that, I'm only going to buy that. So we haven't assumed that you've bought number 1 and then we'll miss out on the granny square. So there's the instructions for that. You also got 4 balls of yarn in here. So this month we have got pale rose, cream, cloud blue and cypress. So those are the 4 colours. Now these will all go together with the colours that you've already had, because we did select them, because although these are 4 new colours, every month there is cream, because that's the colour that pulls the whole thing together, and then you get 3 other colours, but these colours will appear in other months as well, so that's why it all joins together. So this is number 3 crochet. Right, number 3 knitting. This month, obviously, you do your garter stitch square, which you've already done. This month, we're going to learn Fair Isle. So Fair Isle is all about stranded colour work. So basically it means you're changing colour. If you change colour, there's 2 ways of doing it. There's either intarsia, and intarsia is where you use separate little balls of yarn, and you have all these little balls wound up. And Fair Isle is where you just have 2 yarns and you carry them across the back and all the way. So this is Fair Isle, and you get to make little flowers. And Wendy's going to show you, because she's also used this block and made it into a cushion. So because you've got so much yarn, you can either make an extra blanket or you can make a cushion to go with your blanket. So there's all the instructions, everything you need. There's a chart this time. You've got to follow a chart. So if you're new to knitting, or you've done a bit of knitting but you haven't tried Fair Hour, this is for you. Everything you need to know is there, all the stitches and how to change strands. Again, it's exactly the same 4 colours as you got with the crochet. So you've got these beautiful cream, blue, green and pale rose. 100 grams of each. So remember, you've got enough here to make 4 squares. So you can either make 2 blankets or make one for you and give one away. But, so before we go over to Wendy, if you have missed out, if you didn't buy 2 and you missed out on 1, or you missed out on 1 to 2, because they keep selling out, so we keep getting them back again. If this is the first time you've joined us and think, I really want to make that blanket, I'm going to get Wendy to show it to you in the reel in a minute. We do have them. So if you want to do crochet, this is crochet block 1. So there's the instructions for the mitre square and the granny square. Now it doesn't matter, you don't have to buy this one in order to do number 3. All the granny square, the instructions are continued. But if you want to do the whole thing, that is the granny square block 1. And in this one, you get the cream, because that's the common colour that goes with all of them. And then you get, I should remember what these are called, lipstick, aster and apple. So there's the 4 colours for number 1. So that's crochet. That's the one that's on the screen at the moment. Okay. If you want to do crochet 2, this for crochet 2 was the granny square again, but it was corner to corner. Now that I know we've done a few corner to corner shows and you have loved them. So if you've not done corner to corner before, this is the perfect place to learn how to do it, because it's all in that square. So in this one you get the cream, which is in all of them. You get raspberry, denim and apple. 100 grams of each. This is beautiful, by the way, Stylecraft Special Double Knit. It's a really lovely quality. It's an acrylic yarn, so it washes beautifully, but it's a really nice quality. Right, knitting. If you want to do knitting 1, again, there's the pattern. So that the first one we started off was the normal garter stitch square, and then we did the basket weave moss stitch square. So there's the standard, that's the garter stitch square. And then that's the square with the basket weave and the moss stitch. So those are the 4 balls of yarn you get with number 1 knitting. Okay, and then finally number 2 knitting was the garter square and the corner to corner square. So you can do corner to corner in crochet or knitting. That's that one. And then these are the 4 colours, which is the same as the crochet ones. So as you can see the sort of colours now running through. So obviously in block 2, everyone has cream, but the green is the same as the one that was in block 1, but the blue and the pink are different. But together it all works. So there they all are. Anyway, if you click on watch live and scroll down, if you've got confused by what I was talking about, they're all listed there. Number 1, number 2, number 3, whichever one you need, or catch up on the ones that you've missed out. You can join us at any point in the journey, but by the end, you will have the most beautiful blanket. And not only that, you will be an expert knitter or crocheter, which is going to be very important in about November time, because we're going to bring out the next thing that's actually even more exciting. And if you've learnt, that's no more detail than that. Wendy hasn't actually agreed to this totally, but she will.
No, it's
the skills.
This is exciting.
The skills that it's even more exciting because it's the next thing. So the skills that you have learned with us, we will be taking on to the next stage for something a little bit different. Anyway, Wendy, thank you for coming back.
That's okay.
Could you show us the blanket in reality?
I can. Right.
Because it's different, isn't it, in this photo? So there's the knitted one.
There is the knitted with all the squares.
Gorgeous.
That's that one. And then we have the crochet.
It's kind of lie on the sofa.
Oh,
box
very
set.
snuggly.
Put it on the bed, picnic, put over your favourite armchair.
Oh, yes.
I always think if I have a crochet blanket over my sofa, and it sort of makes it look homely, doesn't it?
I have crochet blankets everywhere, as you could imagine.
And the colours, although some are pastel and some are quite bright, they go together.
Oh, it took us ages,
beautifully.
didn't it?
It
did.
Right,
Ages and
faff. Right,
ages.
faff it
It was,
wasn't
wasn't
it?
it?
We've got a message from Caroline. I've got my crochet kit. I've made 2 of each block each month with yarn left over. Love these kits. Oh, thanks. Fantastic. Well, Caroline, are you going to make 2 blankets or are you going to give one away?
Yeah.
And another message from Enid. Good afternoon. I want to thank you. I love these squares so much. These blocks have really kindled my love of this craft and it's so relaxing. Thank you. Well, thank you, Enid. That is all we want to know, is we want to know that we have rekindled
Absolutely.
or started your love of crochet.
Our job is done. Shall we go?
We can go now because we love crochet and knitting. And we want you to love it too.
And
because I think people who crochet and knit are just nicer, calmer, nicer people, aren't they?
But that's only because you knit and crochet, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, we have the joy of calmness.
I am so lucky that I do all the crafts, which means that there's not a second in the day that I can't sit down and just get in the moment. But what I just wanted to show you with the knitting, especially the knitting, you can do it with the crochet as well, but crochet is a little bit more open weave, so you would need to put a lining in it. But with the knitting, you can turn it into a cushion.
That's lovely.
And you could turn...
So if you just bought the one kit, you could use it to make 4
just make a
cushions.
cushion. I would suspect more because the lady, sorry, I didn't see her name, the lady that just messaged in said that she'd made 4 with yarn left over.
Oh, okay.
So there may even be
but even if you did the crochet, you could just buy like a cushion pad that's already got a cushion cover and put that inside, couldn't you?
Definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't just have like the normal
But if you bought,
cushion.
you know, you can buy like just cream cushions, can't you?
And put it inside, that's perfect. And it only is because it's a little bit more open weave with
so
the crochet.
you
that's
could
all.
make cushions to match your blank. So once you've cracked that square,
Oh, yes, I like that idea.
cushions to match.
I love that
Question
idea.
from Elaine. Hi Rebecca, determined to learn crochet, failing so far. Do the instructions cover complete beginners, as I can't even manage granny squares?
You need to know what the stitches are, basically. But please, is it Elaine? Please just keep on. You will get that moment. You will get that light bulb moment, I promise you. Crochet,
They are, I mean, they do. It does cover complete beginners. You have started at the beginning with this.
I have. I've explained what you do, but I haven't, and I have shown, I tell you what to do, what a treble is, but it's just worth having a look online just to learn the real basics.
But we've got pictures.
We have,
We've got
and I
pictures,
do explain what
instructions.
each of the stitch is. So I tell you what a treble is
So
and how
if
to do
you
it.
also, Elaine, if you go back and watch the tutorials from May the, what was it, the 4th?
It was the 4th, wasn't it? I'm sure it was.
Anyway,
Or the 5th,
it's the
I don't
first
know.
Monday in the month. If you go back and watch them on YouTube, if you buy the kit and you go back on YouTube,
May the 3rd,
was
yes,
the
I remember it
first
was.
one,
May the 3rd, yeah.
June the 7th and today. If you go back and watch them, you will see exactly how Wendy has done it. And then you can just keep watching it over and over and repeating it. Once you've got the hang of holding a hook and doing chain stitches, you then be fine to join us. But actually, Wendy shows you how to do that right from the beginning anyway. So yes, just keep doing it and just keep practicing. Take it apart,
That's all it is.
start again.
And please don't worry. I know a lot of people, when you see someone crochet and they've got all their hands and they're going 90 miles an hour. Speed, it doesn't matter how fast you go, it doesn't matter how slow. And when you're starting out, it doesn't matter how you hold the yarn, because I know we all do this fancy thing with the tension.
Yeah, and it doesn't just...
The tension is important. If you do something like this, I had a lady message saying that the next one was a different size, and that's because if you are new to it, as you naturally progress through, your tension's going to even out. So that's all it is. But don't be too het up about worrying what you're doing with your tension in your hand. Just let it go with the flow and just relax. I promise you you will have that light bulb moment. I promise you.
Right, shall we start with crochet?
Yes, let's.
Because I want to.
You want to.
Just because I fancy starting with crochet.
You can start.
So block 3 then. Block 3 is the floral stripe.
Well, they're supposed to look like flowers because the knitted one, as you can see here,
They do.
is flowers.
Yes.
And then with the crochet version,
Yeah, because you've got...
the green stalks, and then the pink and white flowers.
And then that's the sky.
And that's the sky and the grass. Now, basically, I mean, people are going to look and go, oh, what have you done to us this month? You know, you've thrown us in. These two look much, much more complicated. These two, the knitting and the crochet look as though we've literally like jumped to month 12 or something. Not. The knitting is simply knit and purl, and as you've explained, it's just changing colour. And the crochet are treble stitches,
which we've already learned.
We
know how to do.
It's just what we do with those treble stitches afterwards. I'm just going to show you.
I mean, that's quite, you know, when you think so, a lot of people have joined us at the beginning as complete beginners. By month 3, they've made that. That's amazing.
I'm absolutely bowled over actually by the pictures as well, and saying that they've never really done it, and stunning. The photos are absolutely
amazing. Yeah.
brilliant.
So anyone, honestly, anyone.
I feel like a proud parent.
It is. I mean, some people would need more practice than others, but anybody can do this.
What I would probably say is if you are fairly new, then just have the first one, just do one, and then just get used to the feel of it. And then when you do the second one, you're going to know what you're doing, and your tension is going to be much more
I
even.
don't think I ever do crochet a new pattern without undoing it and starting again.
Oh, we've all done it, and we all do it. We all do it. We absolutely all do it. Now, the most difficult thing about this square is that it's working in rows. Now, working in rows is much, much harder than working in the round, but it's a square. So even though we make squares, each time we go round, it's called a round.
Yes,
so it's a bit confusing, isn't it? But we are making a square. It's much easier to work in the round than it is to work in rows. But the instructions are really comprehensive, and they tell you exactly what you need to be doing at the end of the row. So you will be absolutely fine. Now, we've introduced 2 new stitches, but I don't want you to be scared because they simply are a different take on a treble stitch. Now, the first one is the bobble stitch here. And all it is treble stitches, and it's just what we do with those treble stitches to create like that little oval shape. What I am going to do, I'm just going to show you how to do this little bit of grass here. You can see that, because you've got some little, well, they're like little spikes, and all that is a double crochet and a chain, and then that's allowing these stitches to go in there as opposed to going in between. So we're doing something else a little bit different this time on here, because normally in our when we're going in the round on our square, we're going in between the spaces between the trebles. But now what we're going to do is we're going to create a chain at the top of those trebles, so we can then put the next trebles in.
Okay, so we're doing, those first 2 rows are just like you do on a granny square.
They are.
So we can do that.
You can,
because we've done that in 1 and 2.
And with the ends, I tell you exactly what to do with the ends. That's the most difficult part, is actually keeping it as a square. But I show you every step of the way what to do.
So we're going to be on row 3.
Right, so I'm just going to, that's come undone in there.
I'm reading the instructions as I go along.
You are, aren't you? I just finished that row because it's come undone. So I'm just going to finish that row. Now, before I finish the row, I've just got one more step of my treble. So I'm going to change my colour now, so that when I start the next row, it's going to be with the new colour. So I would normally do yarn over and take off the last 2, which is the last step of my treble. So I'm going to yarn over and take them off, and I've now got the new colour on my next row, and that's a much easier way to change colour.
I didn't know that.
Did you?
No.
Oh, that's
I always change colour in the next row.
Do you?
Yes.
No,
but when I change colour in tapestry, I do that. So I didn't even think about that at the end.
But what it does, because we're working in rows and we want to make it easy for where our next stitch is, I'm just going to do a chain one. Now, a chain one simply takes me away from that stitch so that I can work into it. Because we're working into the first stitch of the next row is the last stitch of this row.
Yes.
So if I do a chain one and turn, I can see exactly where I need to go. It's much easier if you change on that last step.
Right, yes, before you turn around.
Yeah, so I've done a chain one, which is my turning chain. So I want to go into that first stitch. Now, it is also a good idea, if you are fairly new, is to put stitch markers in each of the end stitches. One at one end and one at the other, and then you'll always know where that
You'll always know, because I think that is sometimes where you go wrong, is that you don't do it into the first stitch.
That's the issue.
Right.
And I'm just going to do, I did a double crochet, I'm going to do 3 chains, and then I'm going to double crochet into the space between the trebles.
Oh, well, that's easy. I've got to count then.
And what it's done, it's now given me a little chain ready to put my stitches, my stalks of my flowers, rather than going in between the
because you don't want the stalks.
I don't want the stalks there, I want them all stood up.
Yeah.
And then we just do 3 chain,
1,
2.
And you've learned that. You've learned how to do
You know
chains.
how to chain, you know.
You've learned how to do double crochets.
But for those of you, and again, in the instructions, it tells you exactly what the abbreviations stand for, but how to do the stitch. So a chain is literally yarn over and pull the loop off the hook. That is a chain. Yarn over, pull the loop off the hook. And you can see I'm doing nothing with my tension here. I'm just allowing it to fall through my fingers, rather than worrying about, because normally...
Yeah, I know, people go, oh, should I have it round here? It doesn't, you know, you'll work that one out yourself.
All of a sudden you'll pick it up and it will just happen.
Yeah.
So please don't worry. You need to focus on creating the stitches rather than worrying what the tension's doing. And then you just do that all the way along. So we do a double crochet. So I'm doing my 3 chain, and then I'm doing a double crochet in between. And a double crochet is insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's one of the smallest and the easiest stitches to do in crochet, and I'm just going to carry on doing that all the way along until I get to the end, and then I'm going to put it in the end stitch. As I say, it is all explained. So I've now created a little line of stitching that's got chains in
stems
it that are ready to
Is
put
that
my
the
stems
roots?
in. They're the roots, they're the little roots.
Right.
They are. And then I want to get to show you, because I don't want to run out of time, I want to show you the 2 stitches. So that's just doing the roots, and then you would do the stems, which are just trebles. But I want to get to these 2 stitches here, which is the pink one and the white one. So we have the bobble stitch here.
Right, so the next row, the stems are just trebles, and we know how to do that.
Yes, it's, as I say, it's all in the instructions.
That's fine.
And then these ones are popcorn. I love a popcorn. I absolutely love a popcorn.
So they're
stitch.
snowdrops.
Are they snowdrops?
Or tulips.
So the pink ones can be tulips, and the
Well,
white
they're
ones
sort of
can
rounded, aren't they? I feel like they're tulips.
With the pink ones, they're more oval, so they're in at the bottom and they go out, and then they come back in again. But with the popcorn, they've been squashed in half. So if you can look at them from the top, they've been pinched in at the top.
Nice.
Now, I know that it's only month 3, I understand that, but they are easy stitches.
Yes.
And the reason that I've done them in this way is normally you would have a bobble stitch on a row of double crochet, and then the bobble would really stand out because you've got a big stitch in a double crochet. The problem with that, if you're new, you then have to come back again. And when you come back again, you've got to really get your stitch count absolutely spot on, otherwise your bobbles will be out. This, we just create them. We don't have to do anything with them afterwards because we're just working in the spaces between.
So how do we do one of those?
Right, the first one, let's do the...
We've got 10 minutes, by the way.
Oh, 10 minutes.
And then we're on to
Lovely.
knitting.
That's fine.
I said we're going to split it evenly.
You did, didn't you? Right. So I'm going to just do the bobble stitch first. Now, you would normally start by changing colour at the end of the row, but I'm just going to start in the middle of the row just so that you can see it. And I'm doing a dummy treble at the first. Well, let me start at the beginning, because then that's where you'll be starting, isn't it?
Yeah, good point.
Yes, I'm just thinking that it's very easy, isn't it? Because we know what we're doing, we just automatically assume everyone else knows what they're doing.
Let's start at the beginning.
I'm just starting the beginning stitch.
So what have we got there then?
Right, so we have a 5 chain at the beginning.
5 chain. Okay.
Now what that is the first treble and then the 2 chain, because we need to do chains. We need to do chains in between here.
Right.
If we didn't do any chains, they're all going to bunch together.
Okay.
So to create a bobble stitch, we're going to do trebles. So we're going to do yarn over, insert into the next stitch. Now these aren't in the right place, I'm just simply showing you the stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and we just complete the first half. So we yarn over and take off the first 2 stitches. Now we leave that on now. We normally you would do yarn over and take off the last 2. And we go back in exactly where we came from and repeat that process again. And each time we're gaining 1 more loop on the hook. Now the secret to this one is keeping these stitches the same height. So if you can see the way that I'm doing it, I'm pulling them up as I've completed that final step. So they're all the same height, and I keep going until I have 6 loops on my hook. And once I have 6 loops, I yarn over and pull them all off, and I've created my bobble stitch. Now, as I say, normally you would go back down into a double crochet and it would bobble, but we're just showing you how to form the stitch, because I don't want you to run before you can walk. I want you to learn how to do this. And then we would do 3 chain in between, ready to start to the next one. If we didn't do those chains, the heads of the, what are you calling them, tulips? The heads of the tulips would all bunch together, and we don't want that. So I do that one more time. So we do yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through.
And it will tell you in here where you'd insert that.
It does.
Right, okay.
It does, yes. It won't be in where we are because our stalks need to go into that one. Yes, it absolutely. And as ever, what I say is, if you're unsure, if you're not sure what you're doing, just ask me. But if someone does ask a question and they're not my Facebook friend, it won't automatically tag me. So if anyone does see someone needs help but my name's not highlighted, just to message me or something.
Right, so we did,
So we do, I just do one more, so it's yarn over, and then we do a 3 chain, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through. And remember, for a treble, we would do yarn over, pull the first 2, and then we do yarn over, pull the remaining,
but we're
not going to do that. We're going to do another, exactly the same, and just do the first half of the treble. And we keep doing that.
So it's quite important to keep your stitches reasonably loose here, so you can get them all the way back through again.
It is. And
if you can't, undo it.
I just undo it and start again. That's the beauty,
and you only actually have to undo that one bobble. You haven't got to undo everything.
No, you just...
So if you find you can't get your hook through,
so
that's happens to me regularly.
I've gone wrong. And then all you would do is just take them off.
Because I did one with about 8 the other day, and I just no chance. So I just ended it. And the next time I did it a little bit looser.
Yes, but that's exactly what it's all about, isn't it? And what I would probably suggest is that just have a go at doing the stitch rather than just have a little play. But you just saw, I've just unpicked it. If you're not happy, just unpick it and start again. So that's, and we've got time just to quickly show.
Yes, we can do snowdrops now.
Oh, we're doing our snowdrops. Now this one is the popcorn stitch. Now, I love it, isn't it? I love this stitch. So I'm just going to, as I say, you won't be joining where I am. I just want to start at the beginning. We do exactly the same because we need to have our first treble and some chains to actually take us over to that first snowdrop. And then this one, I think this one is even easier because it's 5 trebles all in the same space.
But proper ones?
Proper trebles. So yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, first 2 off of hook, yarn over the remaining 2. So that is our treble stitch.
So 5 trebles
5
into the
in
same
space. Now your spaces will be smaller, obviously, because I'm
So if you're doing your normal granny square, you're used to doing 2?
3.
3?
You do 3 for a normal granny stitch.
So you're used to doing 3, so you just do 5?
Just do 5.
Right, okay.
And what it does do, it creates a fan. As you can see, it's created a fan because there's too many stitches for the hole, so it pushes them out. So then all we're going to do is remove your hook from the 5th one.
What if it falls out?
Right, okay, if it falls out, just pull the hook a bit, the loop a bit bigger. That you should be okay, but if at all you're worried, just pull the loop nice and big. We then go back into the top of the first treble. So you'll see that there's a little hole under the bottom of that first treble. So you want to insert into that first treble, and then you want to pick up the loop from the 5th again. But obviously now I've made such a big one, I need to pull that back down to its normal size. And then I just take it over.
Oh, so you don't yarn over, you just pull it through.
And that is it. So I'll do one more of those.
So it's like a fan squeezed in at the back.
It's exactly what it is. You've created a fan, you've pinched each corner, and then you push them together.
Right.
So I'll just show you that one more time. So we do 5 trebles, and everyone will know what they're doing with their trebles now because it's so amazing. Everyone's work, I am honestly bowled over.
We all know how to do trebles.
So you all know how to do your trebles now, and you just do.
And if you don't, just start the granny square again, and you soon will.
No, honestly, I am bowled over. Unbelievable. So we've got our 5. I'm going to elongate that loop so that it doesn't come out. And then I'm going to go back under the V, so the little V of that first stitch.
Yes.
Back into the 5th, pull it tight because we've made it big. And then you just pull that first one over. And then you've created a little
And then do you
snowdrops.
do a stitch to hold that?
I just do 3 chain
Okay. And then start again.
and then start again. And then what it's done, it's given us a space here when we come back. So as I say, normally you'd have these stitches embedded in a double crochet,
Right,
which
but
means
that's
it's
the
harder.
space to put the sky
But
in.
exactly, then you've got to put your sky on the top. But they are,
Yes.
I've put in row by row.
Yeah, I mean, there
So-
are pictures of all of this.
Yes.
So don't worry, that little space that Wendy's going, you've got to get, there's actually a very close-up photo of that little space.
A lot of people go in the space in between the 2 trebles, but I'm a huge fan of going in that little tiny hole just at the top of the stitch.
And there's a really close-up photo that's, you're not
I've
have
tried
any
to
problems.
make, I've done the 2 stitches in depth so that you know exactly what you're doing. But as I say, just tag me if you're not sure.
So, wow, you imagine, so right, end of number 3, we're on to this. That's quite good, isn't it? We've got a whole floral field going on.
And it's not difficult, is it?
No.
It looks, you're going to wow people. They're going to go, wow, you're at that
So
stage
if you
already.
want to, you can do 2 of the floral fields, or, you know, you do, well, Wendy's done 1 granny and 1 floral, but you can do whatever you like.
Absolutely,
Up
whatever you
to
like.
you.
And that would, I just didn't have a cushion.
Can we see it in the blanket and then
you
we'll
can.
move on?
You
Where
can.
is it in the blanket?
He's there.
Oh,
He's there. So you've got your, like your
gorgeous.
little flowers. But I just wanted to show people how easy it is to work with trebles, and it's what you actually do with the trebles afterwards that create a different stitch.
it's lovely, isn't it? It's really nice. So you've sort of, that's like the beginning of the building blocks for your crochet life journey. Flowers.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, just thinking, I don't think I put any instructions in with me, did I? I did, because I need,
Right.
I need the chart, don't
Knitting.
I?
So if you've been following knitting block of the month, or even if you've been doing 2, you've bought number 1, you bought number 2, and if you haven't, they're on the website, you can buy them. Just click on Watch Live and scroll down. And then you need knitting block 3, which is Fair Isle. So yet again, we're going to be doing the garter square, which is the easiest, which is just rows and rows of knit. So we do the garter square, but in the 3 new colours this time. Well, 4 colours. Cream, rose, is it rose? Yes. Cream, pale rose, cloud blue and cypress. So you do your garter square, and the instructions are in here for the garter square again. And the reason we've done that, if anyone thinks, well, I've already got those, some people only want to buy this one, or they don't buy the others, and then it's a shame that if you haven't got them, and it doesn't make any difference, you know, it's nice to have it all again anyway, but we're going to concentrate on Fair Isle.
You kind of get in the garter one and the granny
Yes,
one for free
for
every
free
time,
anyway.
because we're teaching someone how to do a new technique every
So
month.
Fair Isle,
Can
why
I-
have you chosen Fair
Well,
Isle?
can I firstly say thank you so much to Carol, who's knitted
Oh.
the whole of this blanket.
Carol is a fantastic, she's an amazing knitter.
Well,
she's so lovely.
Carol was, I don't know how many hours Carol has sat and done this for me. I told her what I wanted.
Poor Carol.
I know.
Keep sending her
I do
things.
apologise,
Keep
Carol.
sending her
I told her,
things.
I
Sorry,
said,
Carol.
this is what I
Sorry.
want, and
We
I
love
know,
you, but we're really sorry we keep sending you.
Yeah, I am
so
sorry.
much.
I know this one particularly, there was a lot of frogging going on with this one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I think Carol's done an amazing job in this one. Now, the bottom section, the flowers, are, you look at it and you think, oh, that's garter stitch. It is garter stitch, but it's every row purl this time.
Oh.
And this is where Carol's been so wonderful in what she's adapted on my design, is that it needed to work for the flowers, and that was just the way that it worked.
Oh, okay. Right.
Brilliant. But I don't want people to think that garter stitch is only
it
knitting.
can
Of
be.
course, garter stitch can be every row purl. And a garter stitch, if I show you on this here, it has no side looks wrong. The only difference on this, so that side looks the same to that.
Yeah, oh, but it's
So it
just
looks the same to that. But of course, if you have your colour change, you're going to
Yes.
have that line. Some people like that colour change, but that is garter stitch. So this one is every row knit, but the bottom section of the flowers is every row purl.
Right, just because of the way it works.
Just because of the way,
of
yes.
the
Yeah.
colours joining in.
Carol needed it to be a certain way to do that.
Yes.
And then you've got every single row is step by step. And this here is repeated here. So it talks you through every single row that you need. You get to row 1 to 50, 55, is it 55?
Yeah.
I think, and then you just do a repeat.
And then you repeat.
And then you just repeat. But it tells you every single colour change, because I'm very aware that if people that, you know, have only been doing this 3 months now, we're
Yes, but
expecting
it
them
is
to be-
listed. So if you're a more experienced knitter, you go, okay, I've got that, you just repeat it, I'm going to follow the chart. Blah. But if you're not, if you're new to it, it is spelt out for you. So get a pencil and tick them off as you do them. Because
Ooh,
I always
that's
forget.
a good idea.
I always tick mine off.
I have a row counter. Do you not
Oh.
have a row counter? Okay.
No, I have a pencil.
That's a good row counter, that. So with the flower, you can see that it's just a pattern repeat.
Yes.
But I haven't just said, repeat it along the row. I've said, you know, you need to do this, and then you do the flower, and then you do this,
Yeah,
and then you do
yes.
the flower. Because I just want everyone to be able to go, yep, I can follow
Well,
that.
the good thing is if you are more experienced, you go, yeah, oh, I've got that. And if you're not, you can follow it word by word, can't you?
And you'll notice that this is stocking stitch
Yes.
with a picture in it. So if you really feel that you can't, you know, you're just not there yet, just do stocking stitch in that area.
Just blue.
Which is 1 row plain and 1 row pearl.
So how do we do this colour changing
Right.
business then, Wendy?
Oh, I've lost that one.
That colour changing nonsense.
Colour changing. Well, I must say Carol is obviously the queen of...
The Queen of Fair Isle.
She is, because hers is much, much neater than mine. But I've had fun, and that's what we're
Yes.
aiming for, aren't we?
Yeah, the Fair Isle police will not be knocking at your door. Don't worry.
Well, they might.
But if you want to make, you know, if you think, oh, I really like that, you can just buy this one kit and just
make the cushion.
Yeah, exactly. Why
Everyone
not?
will be getting cushions for Christmas, won't they?
With flowers on.
With flowers on. But the good thing about knitting is that it's more close weave, so you are able to turn it into things like cushions. And
Right,
that.
yes.
What I would probably do with the crochet one is make a scarf. So but there's
Yeah.
options, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
And a lovely lady messaged me with a beautiful picture where she's adapted one of the squares, and that's what we want. We want people to go, yes, we've got that now. Here's our own take
Yeah,
on
and this
it.
is what I've done.
As
Yeah,
long as
absolutely.
it fits. As long as it fits. So I've got my little chart here, my little flower, and I'm simply following the rows. And I have explained that if it's got an arrow pointing to the right, then you read it that way. And if it's got an arrow pointing to the left, you read it that way.
Okay.
And it is a little bit unorthodox because the first one you're starting with a pearl. So that first number 1 row is a pearl row number 2. So I'm now on row 8 I'm on now. So I'm going to be doing a cream. I'm going to be doing the flower now. So all we do is we knit to where we need to be. So I actually can see the pattern in front of me, so I know exactly where I should be. All right. Now, when you knit past a colour that you've already got, I've got rather long needles today, make sure that you just pull the wool behind you. If I just show you what I've done on
can
the
you move the
other
instructions
rows, I know
slightly
it.
out of the way? That's better.
Right. There we go. You'll see this is what. Now, you were saying that Fair Isle is knitting all the way across the row with the 2 colours. It absolutely is, but because I had quite a big block between the flowers, I didn't take the wool with me.
Oh, right. So you've got a bit of Fair Isle and
Yeah,
Intarsia going on.
exactly. But Intarsia is where you completely, you don't go behind the back.
You
And
just
I did.
twist the colours
Yeah.
and then carry on, but you don't carry anything.
And I didn't carry. So you can see here that I've carried, and they're called, it's floating the yarn when you do that. You float it behind the yarn. So on a pearl, you'll be floating at the front, and on the plain, you'll be floating at the back because it's always going to be on the wrong side. And then all we do is this way round. I'm just reading the pattern at the same time, so I know that one before my stalk needs to be the next colour. How do you read your patterns? That's what I tend to do. Instead of doing a stitch count, I'll actually see, oh yeah, it was a green there.
Yeah, I do.
Is that
like
you do the same as me?
Yeah.
So
and so if you've got the row before wrong, you've had it.
and I've done that so many times.
No, I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. It depends. You can either look at I'm seeing that, oh, there was a green, so before the green I've got
Yeah,
cream,
no, that's how I do it
or
as
you
well.
can actually count the boxes.
Yes.
So all I'm doing is changing a new colour, and to do that, instead of knitting with the colour blue, I'm going to put the cream over and knit with that. And then I'm going to carry on and I tend to just do one more, and then I make sure I tie that one off. And that's only because I don't want that stitch. You don't have to, you can do that after, but it makes quite a big stitch otherwise. But you don't want to pull it so tight that you distort.
Oh, so just the starting end,
Yeah,
and you
that-
tie it
yes.
off next, right?
I personally do, because otherwise it tends to follow me.
Okay.
But everyone will have their own way of doing it, and I must remember next time I need like 2-inch needles, don't I?
Yeah. It's the problem with the way you're having to knit here.
It is, isn't it?
Is you're knitting flat.
So I've done the stitches I need to, and I'm just going to now take the blue, because I need to go back to the blue and carry it across the back of the knitting. So I've just carried that blue. It's a bit hard to show, but I've carried the blue across the back. Now, I wouldn't carry more than 3 stitches at once.
Right.
So if you've got more than 3 stitches that you're carrying the yarn with you, just twist it round the colour that's on the needle.
Okay.
I'll see if the next one should be okay. The next row, I've got more than 3 stitches in one row.
You should use circular. That's what you should use for demonstration.
I should do,
'Cause they're
shouldn't
nice and
I?
short,
That would be
aren't they?
much better, wouldn't it?
We'll get you some of them.
I just need like some 2-inch needles.
Yeah, well, they're about that right length, aren't they?
Because these are, I don't know where I've got
Well,
these
it's just
from.
to stop them banging on the table.
They are exceptionally
Yeah, so
long.
show us how you carry.
Right, so I'm going back the other way, and now I know that I've got 5 stitches, so I'll be able to show you how I carry. So I'm looking at the chart again, and I know that I need to be doing 5 stitches, so I've got my 3 cream and then 1 each end, because I'm having a look. So I put the cream in here, and then purl it, because we're working on a purl row. And then before I carry on, I just pull that tight, because you want the end stitches to be nice and tight, otherwise they get really big and baggy. Then I do 2, and I do 3, but I need to do 2 more. Now that's going to be too much for me to carry that blue, so then I just twist the blue and carry it with me. So I'm taking it with me now.
But
If
you're
you
not
can see
knitting
that.
with it.
I'm not
You're
knitting with
just
it,
twisting
but
it.
I'm taking it with me. So it's following the cream, and it's coming up with me, and I'm knitting, and I've got 2 more to do, and then I do the blue again, and then I carry on. Now, as I say, it is not difficult, but if people feel that it is a little bit beyond at the moment, then just do garter stitches. Sorry, just do garter stitch here. So you can see now that I've carried that blue, carried across it with the cream, and then on the front you can't see it because it's behind.
Hey. It's worth having a go. It's only a little square, isn't
Have
it?
a go.
It's worth giving
Absolutely
it a go.
have it a go. And even if you just want to do what I've done and just do a tiny square, because obviously you're going to have the whole row to work with, and then you just repeat the pattern
So
along
do
the
you
row.
have separate balls of white and green?
Yes, what I do, so as I'm going along the row, I don't carry mine all the way along.
Right.
Would you have carried yours all the way along?
Yeah, probably. Probably, but only because I hate change. I hate all the little balls.
I might try that,
However, you're
actually.
probably right. It's probably best not. So the blue continues.
The blue goes all the way
But-
across, but the green and the
The
white
white
and
are
the
separate
cream
balls.
are separate.
But you know, you'd need to try. I'd need to try it.
What I
and
use
see.
bobbins, so
Yes.
I think you do sell them. I don't know if you've got any in stock.
Yeah, well, I think we do. Yeah,
I
the
just
small-
wind them
have
on
you
the
look on the
bobbins.
website. They're just called yarn bobbins
Yeah.
on the Yarn Loan website.
I just have those, and then they hang behind,
Yeah.
because what you don't want is a load of wool. Because if you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 5
But it's
flowers.
worth, give it a go, because again, you can unpick it. If you go wrong the first time round, we all do. But
you will,
learning
yeah.
Fair Isle or Intarsia is such a wonderful technique that you can use for so many
It
things.
is.
You can put your name in it and everything.
Oh,
all you have
it's
to
amazing.
do is get a chart, and you can draw in the chart. You could
Absolutely
put
amazing.
words in it. So this is the time to practice. You're not committing to a whole Christmas jumper.
No, that's
You
why I
are
wanted.
committing.
That's why I wanted to get this one in quite early, because this is it's not complicated. It's very easy. You're simply knitting with a different colour, but the actual trying to get your hands around it all and your needles to behave, that's the difficult
But
part.
it's nice
of it.
because it's not boring, is it?
No, no,
You
no.
are half thinking, right, 3 blues, 2 whites, a green. 3 blues, 5 whites, and you've
Definitely.
thinking about it.
But also, if it really is a little bit beyond just the carrying, then just maybe
Just do one flower.
You can just do one flower, couldn't you? But just either do all blue stocking stitch, or
Yeah.
how about stripy stocking stitch?
Yeah.
How
could
about
do.
just doing stripes?
But it
And
is-
that's going to look just as good.
So what does it look like in the blanket?
Oh, I just going
Because it's more real, isn't it?
Well, see, this is perfect because this is
Oh.
Carol's. So Carol's look amazing. They're cool, aren't they?
Beautiful.
Looks absolutely gorgeous. beautiful, isn't it? Look
Yeah,
how neat
that's
cowls.
lovely.
My flowers have seen better days. I think mine are coming to the end of their bloom.
Yeah, but yours are stretched round a cushion, to be fair.
Well, they are, I know, but they're still not as neat as cows.
And then what does have you show us the other the garter stitch square? It's just really nice to see it in the blanket, isn't it?
Isn't it? And that's, I say, that's the reason we did the colours.
I know, we want to see it in the blanket, Elliot.
Yeah, I want to see it in the blanket. Because what you can't see on the screen is the fluidity of it. It's very fluid.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It's gorgeous, isn't it? And the reason that we've gone up, you would normally do a 4mm needles with this wool, but we've gone up to a 4.5 because we do want it to have that softness. We want it to have that fluidity.
Well, it's got to be like that, isn't it? You need to be lying on the sofa under this blanket,
snugly,
don't you?
you?
Or you
Yes.
need to be able to chuck it in the back of the car because you've got it for your picnic rug.
Yeah, because I know I've explained before in previous months that you can change, you can do whatever you like, but whatever you start with, if you decide to go down to a 4, then you have to keep doing that the whole the way
or you'll
through.
be off.
Don't then change because they're never
But
going to
remember,
match.
you're not making cardboard or metal or wood. This is yarn. It's very flexible. So if one of your squares is slightly smaller or slightly bigger than another, doesn't matter.
We'll be
Just
able to
stretch
tweak it at the end, won't we?
Yeah. I love have you seen that? Measure twice, cut once, then adjust to fit. I love that.
Oh no, yeah, we just always do the adjust to fit.
Then
But
adjust to
they are
fit.
very, very easy to turn into cushions as
Yeah.
well.
So if something goes off slightly, it is
Don't
wool. It'll stretch. It doesn't matter.
I love when I phone you up and say, oh, you go, don't find it, it's fine, it'll fit.
It's fine. It'll fit. Measure twice,
Just
cut
make
once.
it fit. But yeah, I know that it does look as though it's a rather complicated one, but you can take it down if you really don't want to tackle the flowers. Then just do stocking stitch.
Or
in
like
that
you
area.
say, do a little sample.
I
You've got
would.
enough. This is the whole point of us giving you more than enough yarn. Is that you've got enough to do a little sample, practice and practice.
And that was very important from you at the first, wasn't it? You say, because I was going, that's far too much, and you're going, no, because you and I both know that it's not ideal as a beginner to keep knitting up the same again and again and again. You or I, because we're accomplished, we'd be able to knit up, but you want the nice fresh wool at the start. So if you've done a little bit wrong, then just start again.
And you can make your local homeless charities going to love you.
They will. That's a good idea.
It'll be covered in crochet blankets, or hospitals, or friends, or neighbours, or anyone, or just if you make one double that. Beautiful.
Huge picnic blanket. I've had one for years as a picnic blanket. It gets washed all the time, but
Well,
it's,
the good
it's
thing
still
about
lasting.
this acrylic yarn is chuck it in the washing machine, isn't it?
It is.
Chuck it in the washing machine. Right. So I'm going to go through the whole thing again. Right. Starting from 1. Crochet 1. 3. This is so complicated. So crochet block of the month 1, that's what's on the screen at the moment. You get the pattern, which is the mitre square and the granny square, and 400 grams of yarn, 100 in each of the 4 colours. And you make the granny square, which is common to all of them, and you make the mitre square. Love that one. Right, that's crochet number 1. Crochet number 2 is the granny square again and the corner to corner square. Here's the yarn that you have in number 2. Again, you've got this palette of cream, reddy, pinky, blue and green, but it's just different in each one. And you get to make the granny square and the corner to corner square. But remember, you don't have to do that. You can make 2 corner to corner squares, up to you. And then number 3, which is the one that we've just brought on air today, is obviously the granny square again, but the floral stripe square, which makes the tulips and the snowdrops. Very popular today. I mean, that's fab. So just think, if you have never crocheted before, start off with number 1, go back and watch Wendy from the beginning so you learn how to hold your hook. Don't worry too much about style. Style's irrelevant. It's more to do with getting to the bottom of the hill, isn't it? It doesn't, like skiing, isn't it? No matter about the styles, how you get there. So, you can work on your style later. So just learn how to do this. And then you will be on to snowdrops and tulips. Beautiful. So that's number 3. Knitting 1. That's 2. That's crochet. Yay! Knitting 1. Knitting 1. So you start off with the normal garter square, and then you learn the basket weave and moss stitch square. which looks a bit like one of those cricket jumpers.
It does, doesn't it?
And those are the 3 colours, the 4 colours indeed. Cream is common to all because you need one colour to hold it all together, and cream is a good colour to do that. That's number 1. Knitting 2, is that one, which is the garter and the corner to corner square, and those are the colours for knitting 2. And Elliot's going to show us the picture. Thank you very much. And there's the corner to corner. Gorgeous. And then number 3 knitting, brand new today, is, there it is. I've got 2 minutes. Can you imagine what we're going to be like in month 6? It's like it's going to be worse than bird of the month, and that's complicated enough. Series 3, so this is garter and then the floral Fair Isle square, which is all of those colours. It's so good. We've got to put all this back again. Even funnier. We've got bags. Right, we've got a question from Susan who says, when is the next show, please, so I can pop it in my diary? 2nd of August. There you go. 2nd of August. It's always the first Monday of the month. We made that decision, otherwise we would have both got confused.
Oh, yes.
It wouldn't have happened, so 2nd of August. Thank you very much,
You're
Wendy.
very welcome.
It's a pleasure working with you again.
I know.
So you'll be back on Yarn Lane in a couple of weeks' time. Yes, we're working on that one at the moment. That's going to be lovely. Again, I've asked Wendy to design something that I want. I'm not going to tell you what yet. So tomorrow, Yarn Lane is, no, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's Tuesday. Wednesday, Yarn Lane is back with Sam Sabido, and she is bringing her brand new and gorgeous both butterfly crochet top. They're like a short sleeve top that can be a jumper or a cardigan. Oh, and she's made John Scott a version, which is even funnier. And they're all crocheted in cotton yarn and named after different butterflies. They're beautiful in hexagons. Go and have a look on our Yarn Lane fan page if you want to see. So that's Wednesday. She'll be back then. I will be back with you next Monday on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. But thank you for joining us today. It has been a pleasure and lovely to be back with you. Please post your photos on the fan page. We want to see what you've made and your questions too. And don't forget to check out your baskets, because you will miss out otherwise, and that would be a shame. Anyway, I will see you next week, but thank you for joining Wendy and I today.